Hi students, myself Tanmoy Datto, Assistant Professor, Department of Chemistry, JS College of Engineering. Welcome you all in my second lecture of Organic Chemistry. In the first lecture, we discussed about the inductive effect and its application, different kinds of applications also. In the today's class, we'll discuss about the, first of all, we'll discuss about the electromagnetic effect. Okay, there's an important role of the electromagnetic effect, which is represented by E. It may be plus E or minus E depending on the either positive electromagnetic effect or the negative electromagnetic effect. It has a huge application in the reaction mechanism. So today we'll discuss about the electromagnetic effect. Secondly, we'll discuss about the resonance effect. Okay, this is also applicable for plus R and minus R, or mesomeric effect also. It is called mesomeric effect or resonance effect. So what is the application of the resonance effect, we also discuss in the today's class. And third, we'll discuss about that what is the application of the hyperconjugation. Now, first of all, what is the hyperconjugation? What is the hyperconjugation and what is the role of the hyperconjugation in the stability of the compound or to predict the reaction mechanism? Okay, so this is very much important also, hyperconjugation, or it has another name. This is also called the no bond resonance. Okay, so this no bond resonance is very much important to predict the stability. Okay, so we will understand that what is the hyperconjugation first of all, and what is its application. Okay, so today we will discuss all these things. So without further delay, let's start the class. What is the electromagnetic effect? So electromagnetic effect means electrons of the pi bonds are loosely held due to side-wise overlap. You know, all of you know very well, because the pi bond, how the overlapping of pi bond occur. This is the occurred like this type. Okay, so this is the side by side overlap occur. Okay, so if side by side overlap occur, that means they are loosely bound. Okay, and easily polarizable. So if it is loosely bound, then it is very much easier to polarize the pi bonds. So therefore, when a compound having pi bond approached by a charged reagent, electrophile or nucleophile, already I discussed in the previous class that what is the electrophile. Electrophile means which attract the electrons, or which have a which has a tendency to attract the electrons. That will be electrophile, and nucleophile means which love the nucleus or the positive charge. Okay, so the electrons of the bond are completely polarized or displaced towards the one of the constituent atoms. That means if I show you, then it will be more clear. So look here that that it is the polar reagent. Okay, that means the pi bond, one of the pi bond, it is completely goes to the one of the atom. That means if it is the A and if double bond B, okay, then if it is like that, so one pi bond will be as a negative charge, it will be on the another atom, on a particular atom. Obviously, which atom will be the more electronegative? So the pi bond will be on the this atom, and it will carry the negative charge. Okay, so this is called actually electromagnetic effect. Okay, so now electromagnetic, there are some points actually. Electromagnetic effect, this is the temporary effect. Completely it is the temporary effect and operating in unsaturated compounds only. So unsaturated means there must be some kinds of pi bond. So if there is no pi bond, then there is no question of the such kind of polarization of the pi bond. So obviously it will be applicable for unsaturated compounds. Okay, it involves completely transfer of the pi electrons of multiple bond. What I discussed in the previous slide also, that complete transfer. So look at the example, it will be more clear that in case of this example. So here these pi bonds, actually these pi bonds, it is completely transferred to one of the atom. Okay, so, and this negative charge again it attached with the H plus, and in this way it collect the H. Okay, that means it form a new bond with the negative and H plus ion. So in this way it is the positive electromagnetic effect. Why it is positive electromagnetic effect? Because the negative charge which is created, it actually collect the positive ion. Okay, positive ion. That's why it is called the positive electromagnetic effect, okay, because negative charge connect with the positive ions. Opposite thing may be happen, and the remaining positive charge, it remains in this way. Look here, so if it break in this way, then if one bond will be in another head, then what happen, one will be positive and another will be negative. So just try to understand that two probabilities are there, okay. So one probability is that any cation can any cation can form a bond with this carbon, or any anion can form a bond this cation. There are two tendency, isn't it? So if the cation form the bond with the negative ion or negative charge, then it is called the positive electromagnetic effect. So positive means positive charge. If positive charge form the bond with the anion, that means the negative charge which in which carbon is produced, then it is called the positive electromagnetic effect. And in on the other hand, if the any kind of negative ion, negative charge, okay, which can form the bond also with the positive carbon, that means which carbon get the positive charge with this carbon, if any anion form bond, this is called the negative electromagnetic effect. So there are two kinds of electromagnetic effect, one is the positive, another is the negative, okay. So now depending on this positive and negative electromagnetic effect, there are two sign also. One is the plus E, one is the plus E, another is the minus E. So plus E means the transfer of the pi electrons takes place towards the attacking reagent, okay, electrophile. Attacking reagent will be electrophile. This effect is called the plus E effect, okay. So electrophile means which love the electrons. Who will be the electrophile? So cation will be electrophile, isn't it? So if the cation or the electrophile attack, then it is called the positive electromagnetic effect, and it is represented as the plus E. On the other hand, it is represented the negative electromagnetic effect or the minus E when one nucleophile, okay. So Cn minus here, Cn minus obviously Cn minus is the nucleophile. So if any nucleophile attach with the positive center, okay, positive carbon center, then it is called the minus E effect, okay. So there are two effects are very very important. One is the positive electromagnetic effect plus E, and is the negative electromagnetic effect minus E. Just keep in mind, positive or plus E means it attract the electrophile, plus to cation. Cation means it is the electrophile, and negative means it is the anion. Anion means it is the nucleophile. In this way you can keep in mind, okay. So what are the applications? There are so many applications of positive and negative electromagnetic effect. First of all, electrophilic addition reaction of unsaturated compounds. When I will show you that the addition reaction, then this concept will be very much important. What I told you in the first lecture of that organic chemistry, then there I told you that what here we are discussing, there you can find out the basic concept of the reaction mechanism. So if you understand properly, the reaction mechanism will be more easier to understand, okay. So first of all, electrophilic addition reaction occur like the polarization of the carbon-carbon double bond in the presence of attacking electrophile like H plus, okay. So electrophilic addition involving plus I effect. So obviously electrophilic addition occur with the help of plus E effect. Nucleophilic addition occurred with the minus E effect, what I told you, okay. So nucleophilic addition involving the minus E effect. Ring polarization means the polarization and the attack by the electrophile may actually take place actually in a concentrated in a mechanism, okay. So this can be happen here also. Now inductive effect versus electromagnetic effect, okay. What is the difference between inductive effect and electromagnetic effect? We already discussed about the inductive effect, okay. So now now look here, if you consider the inductive effect, then it is It is a permanent effect involving only the displacement of the electrons. Okay, that means inductive effect is it's a permanent effect involving only displacement of the electrons. Electrons will be displaced. This is called the inductive effect. But electromagnetic effect, it is a temporary effect involving a complete transfer of the pi electrons. There is a complete transfer only the pi electrons. So for the pi electrons, if it is applicable, okay. It requires the polar covalent bonds. Okay, here this effect is shown only by the compounds containing one or two multiple bonds. Inductive effect, there should be, actually in case of inductive effect, there must be the attachment of the two atoms. That atoms should have some kinds of electronegativity difference, without which it is not possible. So in case of inductive effect, that's why here it is mentioned that requires only polar covalent bonds. Polar covalent bond means when the bond will be polar, if in between A and B there will be some kinds of difference of electronegativity, then only it will be polar. If the compound is like AA and both the atoms have the same electronegativity, then it is not possible to be the bond polar. So bond polarization is very, very important for the inductive effect. But in case of electromagnetic effect, there multiple bonds are required. There is more specifically pi bonds are required. Okay, otherwise it is not possible. Electron transfer shown by the arrowhead midway. Electron transfer shown by the curved arrow. Okay, this is, that means that it is in this way it is shown, and electromagnetic effect, this is shown actually curved in this way. Okay, so in this manner we can show. So these are the rough differences between the inductive effect and the electromagnetic effect. So now resonance. Okay, these are the funny pictures actually. Again, what is the resonance, to understand properly? So resonance means it is actually one type of things. The picture will be clear when I will discuss all that things. So first of all, to understand the resonance, you have to understand the delocalization. What is the delocalization? So delocalization means in a conjugated system, pi electrons are distributed over whole of the molecule. Okay, so generally in case of resonance, the delocalization term is very, very important. And in case of delocalization, first of all, you have to understand that the pi electrons are distributed over whole of the molecules. Okay, overall it is distributed to the overall molecule. This is the first thing of the delocalization. Okay, delocalization means the distribution of the pi electrons, okay, overall the molecule, throughout the molecule. Okay, all the carbon atom, and do not all the carbon atom, that means it is the charge will be distributed throughout the molecule. This phenomena is called the delocalization. Delocalization of electrons not only takes place in alternative single bond and double bonds in carbon atom. That means, if you give the example that there will be delocalization like pi overlap also occur, delocalization by pi p overlap also occur. Okay, so now there are some the important topic, that is the this is the resonance or the mesomeric effect. Resonance is also called the mesomeric effect. So what is the resonance? Resonance mainly described by the polarity of the bond produced in a molecule by the interaction between the lone pairs and a pi bonds, or the interaction of a pi bonds in the adjacent pi bonds. So that means there are two possibilities of the of the generation of the resonance, or the molecule which takes part in the resonance. That either there will be any lone pair, like if you see the first case, there is a lone pair of the nitrogen. That lone pair takes part in the resonance process, and by this resonance process, the lone pair it circulates throughout the molecule. Okay, so then it one by one structure will appear. These all are the resonating structures. So in this process, it can take part in the resonance. And also if you check the another case, there will be no lone pair, but pi bonds. In the second case, the pi bond, here pi bond takes part in the resonance. Okay, so in this way, it also the pi electrons or the electron density circulate throughout the molecule. The resonance effect is the chemical phenomena observed compounds characteristics of double bond of organic compounds. So generally, it is very much a simple thing that without the double bond, how is it possible to get the resonance? Okay, so there should be double bond and it should be conjugation. Conjugation means it will be one after another, double bond will be one after another, otherwise it is not possible. Up to when it is available, that means one after another double bond another available, up to that point resonance is available or resonance is possible actually. Then there are some characteristics, okay. It is usually found in the molecules with conjugated double bonds, okay. What I told you, conjugated double bond means there one double bond will be there, then single bond, again double bond there, again single bond. So in this manner, if there is any compound, then in this compound there is a possibility of the resonance, okay. Having at least one lone pair and one double bond, okay. So this is a minimum condition, at least there should be one lone pair and one double bond. Understanding the resonance is important in understanding the stability of the compound and its energy state. This is a very, very important sentence, because if the molecule have more resonating structures, okay, if it is available that more resonating structures are available, then the compound will be more stable, okay. So that means that indicate the energy state also. That means more and more the molecule will take part in the resonance, more and more structure will be produced from the resonance, then the molecule will be stabilized, okay. So in this way we can understand the stability of the molecules also. Third point, that aromatic compounds are especially stable due to this delocalization and the resonance effect. Each and every kind of aromatic molecule, so you know the most common example is the benzene. In this way, so if you think about the benzene, then it is highly stabilized, okay. Benzene is highly stabilized. Why it is highly stabilized? The stabilization come from the resonance effect of the pi bonds, okay. So these pi bonds are actually they are take part in the resonance in this way, okay. So they are takes part in the resonance. So in this way there are so many structures are produced. So when there are so many structures are produced, then that means there is a chance of the stability, okay. So that's why more and more resonating structure and mainly organic compounds, in maximum organic compounds or pi bonds are available. So that's why they are generally produce the resonant structures, okay. So there are two types of, like each and every case, like previous case also, here also two types, either plus R or the minus R, okay. So first of all, if we consider the minus R or minus R resonating group, that means which actually takes part the electron density. So minus M or minus R means it is shown by the substituents or groups that withdraw electrons by delocalization mechanism, okay, from the rest of the molecules, and it denoted by minus M or minus R. That means which have a capacity to take the electrons from the molecules. I can give you, here is the example of the NO2. I can give you the example that how NO2 withdraw the electron from the compound. Like if the NO2 is attached with the benzene ring, if the NO2 is attached with the benzene ring, this is the benzene ring, okay, and look, there are some double bonds are present, okay, and NO2 present in this way, okay. So N normally NO2 present in this way, that N double bond O, and here N plus, and here O minus. This is the general form of the NO2. So now when resonance occur, what happen in case of resonance? So this double bond takes part in the resonance. So this bond come here, and ultimately oxygen double bond comes to the as a minus charge. So in this way, actually NO2 withdraw the electron density from the rest part of the compound. Rest part of the compound means here from the benzene ring, isn't it? So if I add here a more compound, like if I add here the NH2, then what happens? NH2 has the lone pair, you know. So this lone pair also come here in this way. So chain length will be more, okay. So look there, that if there is the compound NH2, it donates the electrons, okay. NH2 it donates the electron to the benzene ring, but NO2 it withdraw the electrons from the benzene ring. So there are two different cases. So if you think about the NH2, these have the plus M or plus R effect. Plus M or plus R effect means these groups show positive mesomeric effect when they release the electrons to the rest part of the molecules, okay. So that means NH2 it supplies the electron density to the benzene ring. For example, it is applicable for alcohol also, okay. There are so many examples, alcohol also, OR also, SH also, HR also, NR2 also. These are all the cases. These compounds actually supply the lone pairs or the electron density to the molecules, okay, by the resonance. So that's why these compounds have the plus M or plus R effect. But which compound withdraw electron density from the compound, like NO2, like CO, like CN, like COOH, like SO3H. All these compounds withdraw the electron density from the compound or rest part of the compound. So this type of compounds have the minus M or minus R. So this is another example of the plus R and another minus R effect. So this is a plus R, what I show you, that NH2, that successfully NH2 push the electron density to the molecule. And minus R effect, look here, in case of minus R effect, CN have the minus R effect, and CN takes the electron density from the rest part of the compound, the electron density come to the CN. Okay, so in this way we can also explain the plus R and minus R effect. So you have to understand properly what is the plus R and minus R effect, because without understanding, without have some sound knowledge of the plus R and minus R effect, it will be very much difficult to understand the proper mechanism of the organic reaction. Okay, so now resonance energy, these are not important so much. Application, okay, some applications we'll discuss here. So application means in case of by resonance energy, that means higher resonating structure. What I told you, that higher resonating structure, it will be higher stable. So look there. So if you check the this compound, the first compound is more stable. The first compound is the more stable. It is the more stable with respect to second one, because in the first case here resonance possible, here double bond are in the conjugation, look here. But in the second case, double bonds are not conjugation, it will not take part in the reaction. Okay, so in the first, if we take the first example, then I can show you in this manner. So this way it can take part in the reaction. But in the second case, look, in the second case here this facility is not available. Because why? Because these are two double bonds are far apart, so no scope of the taking part of the resonance. Okay, second case also there, look there, their first case there is resonance possible, it is the benzene ring. Okay, so I told you previously that for benzene ring it is highly stabilized due to resonance. But in the another one, this is the cyclohexane, there is no scope of the resonance, so that's why it is not stable so much. Okay, so these all are the examples you can check. Okay, so these all are the example which from which you can or which where stability can be achieved by the resonance, application of the resonance. So now come to the fact hyperconjugation. This is also very important, that hyperconjugation. What is the hyperconjugation? Okay, so hyperconjugation is, it is the delocalization, it is the delocalization of the sigma bonds. Okay, delocalization of the sigma electrons. Okay, delocalization of the sigma electrons or adjacent with the adjacent pi orbitals. This is very important, adjacent pi orbitals. Okay, so there this is also called no bond resonance, and this is applicable for hydrogen. Okay, it occurs due to overlapping of sigma bonding orbitals or sigma bonding orbitals, or the orbitals containing a lone pair with the adjacent pi bond. So sometimes it is called no bond resonance. Why no bond resonance? Because in case of hyperconjugation, hyperconjugation, there sometimes there is no existence of the bond for few steps. Like if I show you one such kind of resonance, then you will see that this is the C, this is the hydrogen. Okay, and this is the C, then again this is the C double bond C. So other all the things are the like hydrogens are there, here hydrogens are there. Okay, so here hydrogen and here CH2 maybe. Okay, so then how it is possible? So hyperconjugation means it is the overlapping of the pi bonds, okay, with adjacent overlapping of sigma bonds with adjacent pi bonds or pi orbitals. So look here, so the overlapping will be such kind. Here this bond will come, and next this goes to the CH2. That means here I can show you that here you will get ultimately that it will be the CH2, then double bond C, then single bond CH2, so ultimately what you will get here, that it is the CH2 then double bond C, then single bond CH2 minus, and here in the upper there will be H plus. So in the H plus and CH2 there will be no bond. In this area there is no bond. That's why it is called actually no bond resonance. Okay, sometimes because in one step, look here, H only remains with the H plus, and in between CH2 and H plus there is no bond. That's why it is called the no bond resonance. Okay, hyperconjugation. That's why it is called no bond resonance. Okay. So there must be a alpha CH group. Okay, very important word, because if alpha means what is the alpha carbon, with which carbon double bond is attached. After that carbon, this is called the alpha carbon. If there is hydrogen attached with the alpha carbon, then it is called the alpha hydrogen. So alpha hydrogen is very much required for the hyperconjugation. Without existence of the alpha hydrogen, it is not possible to take part in the resonance and to the adjacent to the sp2 hybrid orbitals or other atoms like nitrogen, oxygen, etc, etc. Okay, so this is the example of the hyperconjugation. Okay, then I'll show you another examples also. So there the displacement on the sigma electrons, there are so many sigma bonds are there. Look, in this way we can show the hyperconjugation also. This is the more prominent example to show the hyperconjugation. Okay, so look here. So here it is the way of the hyperconjugation. Okay, so first step, there is a hydrogen, the bond is on the sigma bond, break, and sigma bond come to the alpha hydrogen. Sigma bond comes to the overlapping with the pi bonds. Then what happened, the pi bonds to the minus charge, and then another H plus H take part on the same way, then another H plus take part in the another way. So that means if it is the CH3, there will be 3 hyperconjugating structures will be possible for each and every hydrogen. That means how many hydrogens are attached with the alpha carbon? I again repeat, how many hydrogens are attached with the alpha carbon? Then that number of structures will be possible. That number of structures will be possible for the hyperconjugation. And if more and more number of structures will be produced, this indicate that more and more compound will be stabilized. So when the number of hydrogens will be replaced by methyl group one by one, its stability will be decreased. Why? Because if methyl group replace the hydrogen, then what happen? Then if there is no hydrogen atom present, then it is not possible to take part in the hyperconjugation. So if it is not able to take part in the hyperconjugation, hyperconjugating structure will not be possible to produce. So in this way, we can explain the stability of the compounds one by one. Okay, so look here, in the contributing structure 2, 3 and 4 of propene, there is no bond between alpha carbon and one of the hydrogen atom. Okay, so alpha carbon and one of the hydrogen atom, there is the no bond. This indicate that this is the hyperconjugation or no bond resonance. Okay, so there are some kinds of applications also. What I told you, that in case of stability of the atom, if you consider the stability of the atom, then there are some examples also available here. So that in between 1 butene and 2 butene. Okay, so look here, in case of 1 butene, there 2 hydrogens are present. So 2 hyperconjugating structures will be possible. But in case of 1 butene, in case of 2 butene, look here, 6 hydrogens are available. So this means 6 number of hyperconjugating structures will be possible. So, and I told you, in with increasing the number of conjugation or conjugating structure, the compound will be more and more stable. So that means 2 butene will be more stable than the 1 butene, because in 1 butene there is only 2 hydrogen, in 2 butene there is the 6 hydrogens are present. Okay, so in this way we can draw the stability order also. So look here, in this case, in the last compound, which is the most stable. Okay, so here 3 into 4, 12 hyperconjugating structures are possible, isn't it? So if there 12 hyperconjugating structures are possible, then it will be highly stable. it will be highly stable. And then if we remove the one methyl group with hydrogen, this indicate that their three hyperconjugating structures will be reduced. That means the stability will be reduced. So in this way, in the last compound of the order, lowest or least stable compound, look, there is no hyperconjugating structure is possible. So that's why this compound has the lowest stability in the order. Okay, so in this way we can draw the order of the stability. Okay, that means the more and more alpha hydrogens present, simple word, more and more alpha hydrogens are present in the compound will be more and more stable, because more and more hyperconjugated structures will be possible. Okay, now second case, stability of the carbocation. This is also important fact. If you consider the stability of the carbocation, then look here also hyperconjugation has some kinds of has some important role here, because look here, in the highest stable carbocation is the 3-degree carbocation. Okay, so it is the highest stable carbocation, because here the 3 into 3, 9 number of hyperconjugating structures are possible. So that's why 3-degree carbocation is most stable carbocation with respect to 1 degree, or with respect to 3 hydrogens are present, that means methyl CH3 plus. Okay, so in this way there is an important role of the hydrogen atom. There is a very important role of the hydrogen atom, by which we can draw or we can explain the stability of the compound. Okay, reactivity and orientation of electrophile substitution on benzene ring. There is an also important role of the hyperconjugation. Then look, this is the example of the hyperconjugating structure, that it conjugation in toluene. In case of toluene, there also it is possible to develop some kinds of hyperconjugating structures. Okay, and then so that means what we discussed today. So first of all, you have to keep in mind these two classes in my previous organic chemistry first lecture and the second lecture. You have to understand all the things very perfectly, very clearly, because from there we can draw we can understand, we can explain the proper mechanism of the different kinds of reaction, like substitution reaction, like addition reaction, like elimination reaction, etc., etc. And for this concept, their inductive effect, we already discussed inductive effect. This is very important, and you should have some sound knowledge. Then we discussed about the resonance effect. This is also very important. Acidity and basicity also we can predict from the inductive effect. Then resonance effect is very much important to explain the stability of the compounds, or to understand the delocalization of the pi electrons. Then come to the hyperconjugation. Hyperconjugation also it explains the stability of the atoms of the compounds, not atoms, of the compounds. And also it is very much important to understand the proper way of the reaction mechanism, or to understand the proper way of the reaction mechanism, and also to understand the stability of the carbocation. So in this way, these facts are very much important, and in the next class we'll discuss about the some reaction mechanism. Okay, substitution reaction probably, and just you have to read properly, you have to understand all these things which we discussed in the class. And also you have to check some kinds of examples from any of the standard books, by which you can understand that what will be the effect of this inductive effect or resonance effect or hyperconjugation effect to particularly this compound. Okay, so thanks for watching. Goodbye, take care, meet with you in the next class.